So Ryan and Hazel, welcome to the Nelson Pod and congratulations. Are you coming down to earth yet? Have you come down to earth?
Yeah, and I don't like it. I hear about these post-show blues, and I don't know what the hell they were, but I think I'm right in the middle of it at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, it's not much fun.
Tell us more.
Oh, I just think over the course of the last 6 months, it takes up so much of your time, energy, and mental capability, I think, and not necessarily just the dancing. I think you're constantly thinking how you can, what's the next fundraising event, or who can you tap on the shoulder, and all of a sudden I rock up to work this morning and I don't have any of that, and I have to. I'm no longer messaging Hazel every 5 minutes, wondering how our dance is going. So it's a bit of a weird feeling, to be honest.
Yeah, how are you feeling, Hazel?
Yeah, about the same, kind of coming back to normal, and you don't have that constant thing to think about and plan. But
And how many weeks were you working together leading up to the big night?
I think it's about 15. So yeah, 1 hour a week for 15 weeks. A little bit more in the last probably 2 weeks with dress rehearsals and a couple of more run throughs. So yeah, the actual dance practice or practicing, an hour a week really. But like I said, it's constantly taken up a fair bit of mental capacity, that's for sure.
Yeah, and how did you first get involved, Ryan?
Yeah, really interesting story. So one Sunday afternoon, we're sitting on the couch and my beautiful wife turns to me and says, I've done something. I thought, oh, that's a hell of a way to start a conversation. And she said, but I can't tell you. And I said, righto. So I kind of tried to get as much information out of her, but I didn't get anything. And she said, all I can tell you is tomorrow morning you're meeting a lady by the name of Emma at a cafe. I thought, holy heck, righto. So, of course, I go to bed and I can't stop thinking. And I started to put a couple of things together.
Hang on, your wife just doesn't give you any other details?
No, she's good like that, isn't she?
Okay, cool.
And I started putting a few things together, like the Dancing for a Cause Facebook page had got a bit more proactive and they were starting to be a bit more active on Facebook. And I thought, oh. And I knew the brains behind the big event was a lady by the name of Emma, and I thought, surely not. So here I walk into a cafe, 10 o'clock the following morning, and this Emma walks up to me. She goes, oh, you must be Ryan. I said, yep, pleased to meet you. She went, so, MBS Dancing for a Cause. And I was just like, oh, my word. And then, lucky enough, Ben Douglas actually walked in at the same time. We both had a meeting with Emma. So, mate, half an hour later, I'm signing on a dotted line to...
Half an hour later?
Pretty much, yeah.
Classic. Any dance in your background?
Not sober. No. Everyone thinks they're a decent dancer at a wedding or post-midnight, but certainly no. And I think if you spoke to any of my friends or family, they'd vouch for that. I have no bone.
So what did your friends and family say when you told them what you were doing?
I was mad, but probably understood my personality. I'm not one for having a boring life, and diving into a challenge head-on is something I love to do. Probably not this big as often as I can help it, but mate, as soon as you add the hospice into it and raising money for them, holy heck, how can you not say no?
I suspect partners, both life partners and dance partners, play a big role in making this event happen, because when I first did it back in 2018, I got an email and I read it and I just thought, no, this you got to be joking. And I read it out to my wife and she said, you have to do it. I went, really? You've got to do it. And again, like you said, a great experience. Yeah, totally fantastic experience. And how about yourself, Hazel? Like, you've done it 2 times?
One time.
One
so
time?
I did it last time. So I moved to Nelson in 2019, and maybe the first time I saw Emma, she said, can you do Dancing for a Cause next time? And she told me all about it. So, yeah.
And you're used to dancing with other people who are real dancers. What's it like taking someone like Ryan for a dance?
It's different. It's very different going from taking a beginner and doing such challenging steps, because you don't normally start with a Viennese waltz. But it's very fun. It's a good challenge, and you get to do some, exciting lifts and fun things that you don't get to do in competitions. So
And what's the hardest thing about doing a Viennese waltz, right?
Knowing it's called the Viennese waltz for a start. I call it the Vietnamese waltz.
Okay.
Yep. So after about 6 weeks, Hazel had to let me know it wasn't called the Vietnamese waltz. So that was an interesting start.
I thought he was joking for about that.
Yeah, she did. She didn't really said, you're actually being serious, aren't you? Probably it's it can feel like quite a slow dance, and I think I probably danced it far too fast for a lot of time, because you think you have to do that. As a non-dancer, you're thinking you have to put your feet in front of the other one really quickly. So learning to slow down as much as I can in different parts of the dance was probably the most challenging thing. And the frame, oh my word, if I hear someone say frame one more time, wow.
For people who don't know, what is the frame?
Frame is the position you get in when I hold Hazel, basically, is what, and it's probably, Hazel will probably correct me, but one of the most important parts of dance is to be on and in frame, or in hold, probably. That was challenging.
Right. So you had all these weeks of rehearsal, and then you get to the big night, and you're at the Trafalgar Centre, and all the buzz is happening. And did you do, from memory, we did 2 rehearsals before the final. Did you do a couple?
Yeah, we had one at Nelson Girls College on the Saturday before, which was awesome. So that was the first time we actually got to see all the dancers. And then we did a full dress rehearsal with all the lights and effects on the Friday beforehand. And that was really, really good because you got to, and it's also the bits you don't think about, like the judges were there and where to stand and how to bow to the crowd and just things you don't even really take into consideration. So yeah, those 2 were certainly needed from my point of view.
Right. So on the night itself, talk us through that, because that's a bit of an emotional journey for a lot of people.
Yeah, really weird day. It's a bit of a hurry up and wait day. We went out for breakfast at 9:30 as there was 20 of us or whatever it was, went out for breakfast, which is really cool. And then you're at the venue from 11 and it can be quite a long day. And I think Hazel and I only probably danced 3 or 4 times on the day, and that was led, very much by Hayes. She was really happy with how the dance felt. And again, for me, I wanted to dance it 500 times. You just want to get it right and right and right. And Hazel, led us really nicely on that day. And it's a weird day, but I was saying to someone the other day, I don't think I'd want to do it any other way. Like, I don't think I'd want to be at home until 4 o'clock because you would just have this nervous energy, and you're at the venue, you can take it all in, and the girls are getting their hair done, and the vibe against the crew's really, really cool. And we had a little moment in the green room. The 5 lads of us put on a song and we blasted out and gave a massive dance, and I think that was just a big energy release and endorphin release, so it was really cool.
And what was the song?
It was actually an Eminem song, and there's a little bit of an inside joke around that. So
Which one?
If you ever bump into Hazel, ask her to rap Eminem. She's a very talented young lady.
Okay, but what was the song?
I can't even remember now.
Move Yourself?
Yeah, we'll go with that. I can't remember
Is that what it is, Hazel?
I can't remember. I could hear it from from the dance floor.
So you psyched out with Eminem, and then you get into the business end of the whole competition. I remember Paul Hampton, Victory Boxing, on the night. He was just like loving it the whole time up until, I think, just a few hours before the actual show, and he started walking around with this like really serious looking face on, and he got the nerves. I think that happened to a lot of us. Did you experience that?
I think I was okay. Most of the day, probably 2 minutes before dance time when we were waiting in the little wee hallway part. Yep. But really, again, we were quite late in the car. We were 9th, I think. So by the time the doors open at 6, show starts at 7, we're still a good couple of hours away from dancing. So we had that opportunity to take in the buzz and watch 8 other dancers before us and a couple of group dancers. And really interesting to talk about dance. The dance mode, Hayes moves into dance mode, and it's incredible. Again, I don't know what it's about. I don't know. I've never been to a show, and it's incredible to see the trained dancers move into, I guess, the mode that gets them ready. And all of a sudden, that made it a little bit more real when Hayes moves into that. Yeah.
And what happens when you do that?
I don't know. I'm just kind of focused, I guess.
Focus is important, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So when you were actually starting your dance, the Vietnamese or Viennese waltz, what was going on inside?
Watching the video is really cool. So they obviously play a video of you being interviewed, and that was really quite cool because it reminded you why you're doing it. I think you get caught up in the lights and the crowd, and again, we were late in the card, so there's a few glasses of wine had by a few corporate tables, but just to be able to watch that video just centers you again on why you're doing this whole thing. And yeah, look, the 2 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever of the dance is terrifying, but when you just have a minute to relax, and I said to Hayes on the night, I said 3 seconds into the dance, I was just like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. And I was worried it was going to be over way too quick. So the nerves went out the window, and I just thought, you know what'll be will be, and let's have a heap of fun with it. And we did.
Right. And did you think when you'd finished your performance, we might have won?
Yeah, I get asked that a couple of times. I don't think that ever popped into my mind, but I knew we'd danced well. I would argue it potentially could have been the best one we'd done, and that felt really good. I think that was my biggest want of the night, is to walk off the dance floor and go, do you know what? I actually danced really well.
Yeah, I agree. The main thing for me was I knew we had done put on an amazing performance, so it didn't really matter what the result was.
There's a couple of points within the dance. There's 2 that worry me and scare me and keep me up at night. And we managed to come out of both those points okay. And one of them's about 25 seconds before the dance finishes. So we come out of that last one, I thought, actually, do you know what? This could be okay. And I don't know if anyone's seen the dance yet, but it's got a pretty cool lift in it, which gets the crowd going. And once I kind of get to that point, I'm like, yeah, we're going okay. This could be a heap of fun. And yeah.
And did you feel like you were in the zone? Because when we did it, Brooke and I actually got really a bit high. Like I was like super adrenalized, really excited, and I think I probably was going too fast. And instead of sort of gliding, I was stomping and things. But I had a great time, but I just kind of lost my composure a bit. You didn't feel that?
No, and I think the 2 dress rehearsals prior to that were really good for me. The first one on the Saturday, I danced way too quick, that endorphin rush and that big energy burst, and way too quick. It didn't come together very well. And the Friday night was probably a little bit better. There's actually a funny story on the Friday night, and sorry, Hayes, I'm going to tell this. That, the nicest person on the planet has never said a negative thing to me. We're 2/3 of the way into a dance, and I missed a step on the Friday. She leans in to me beautifully. She just said, "What the hell are you doing?" I was just like, "That's perfect. That's exactly what I needed."
Yeah.
And then the last kind of 20 seconds flowed all right. So yeah, those two dress rehearsals were pretty important for me. Yeah.
Hazel, was that a strategic move on your part?
A little bit, yeah. I knew, like, on the Saturday, we, like Ryan said, we just did a couple of go-throughs. And then, yeah, I said, no, I'm happy there. I mean, they didn't go perfectly all the time, but I knew that in the moment we would bring it. So I said, no, stop there. Just when we go on, just relax and enjoy. And that's, yeah.
Yeah, the last one actually was probably our worst one. And then I think Emma yelled out, "Right, that's it. Floor's closed." And I just went, "Oh, no." And then had that horrible, 3 or 4 hours of knowing that I probably danced the worst one, the dance before the big dance. So, but it was cool, mate.
To get it out of the way.
Absolutely.
And how did you feel when you found out you won?
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, really
It's
cool.
amazing. I was mainly pretty excited because it meant that we got to do it again.
Yeah, it's a good point. You do have that, the minute before we danced our first one, you just have that, oh my God, it's potentially the last dance we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And we've done it, I don't know how many times, and that could be the last one. But I think the coolest part, yes, hearing, the winning dance, but getting a couple of 10s from the judges, the first 10 on the night and then getting another one, like that was pretty cool.
One of the things I love about Dancing for a Cause isn't just that it raises money for this incredibly good cause, and it isn't just that it puts on a great show, it's the way it brings the whole community together. Like when you look around the Trafalgar Centre on the big night, you see all sorts of different Nelsonians. And I think that's one of the really special things about it. Were there people who got behind you that weren't really necessarily people you expected to get into it?
Yeah, definitely. I think once people get over the fact that you're going to be dancing, that's the first thing people think about, and they probably take a step back and realise that you're raising money for the hospice. People are more than happy to get involved in whatever that looks like. We call it the fundraising crew out in Wakefield. Both Hayes and I are from Wakefield, and there's a group of probably 20 odd people that they've done everything from flip a sausage to wash a car to sell some raffle tickets to whatever they wanted to do, whatever they could do to get behind us. And I think that's really cool when you understand what you're doing affects so many people in whatever way they want to do. Like, not everyone wants to dance in front of a sold out Trafalgar Centre, but they'll happily sell a raffle ticket or do some home baking, so that was, I think, a really cool thing for me. And a lot of those people are Hazel's relations, so to bring a village on behind us and get a family behind us was pretty cool.
So what would you say, Hazel, for you, if you're going to sum it all up, what would have been the highlight of this year's Dancing for a Cause?
Oh, maybe the performance itself, that 2 minutes. Yeah, just having so many people in the crowd cheering and screaming, and that you're all there for the hospice, and and I'm doing what I love at the same time, so I'm very lucky. Yeah.
And Ryan, for you, the highlight?
If I'm going to nail down one, and I've spoken about the fundraising side of it and the huge figure when that gets released, what that looks like, but I think I was just really proud I put a performance out on the floor for friends and family at the table, but also for Hazel. She gives up so much time, and last thing I wanted to do was drop her or trip over or whatever. She wouldn't care. But I think it's just knowing that you've danced your best when it counted was really, really cool.
Nice. And Hazel, when you first saw Ryan, did you think, yep, this is going to be okay, I can win with this guy? or did you think something else?
He told me pretty early on that we were going to win. He was very confident. So, no, when we had our first couple of dances, I thought, oh no, this is going to be easy. He's very keen to learn, and yeah, no, it's good.
Very cool. I read a really lovely Facebook post by you, Ryan, about the experience, which thanked all the amazing people like Emma and Sally, all the people behind it, but also it was a really nice finish. And you finished with P.S. hard to proofread with tears in my eyes, so please forgive me. Tell us a bit about those tears.
Yeah, really strange. I'm not much of an emotional bloke. I don't think I kind of ever have been. I've been one of those people that not hides behind a brave face, but it's just who I am, I think. And I don't think I've ever cried as much as I did 40 hours post-show. It's so bizarre. I watched the video of Hazel and I burst into tears. I tried to write the post where thanking Victoria, my wife, who's an absolute champion. She has been through this whole process, burst into tears, put the phone down, picked it back up, tried to thank Emma, who I have the utmost respect for, burst into tears, and then went to write the piece about Hayes. And like, I've only known Hayes for 16, 17 weeks, but my word and impact people can have on your life is scary. And I burst into tears this morning, and I don't even know why. I keep receiving so many messages like, holy moly, the old social media has been going absolutely bonkers, and like someone might send a picture from a different angle, and all of a sudden I'll burst into tears. And our man Todd here sent me a beautiful video actually of one he put together, and bang, I burst into tears. So it's just been a hugely emotional roller coaster that I think's been building for kind of a fortnight out from the dance. You do the dance, you're in the middle of these post-show blues, and I'm a crying mess.
Right, but maybe in a good way.
Oh, nothing but a good way. Yeah, absolutely. And then you hear that, potentially the figures, could start with a 4 maybe, who knows, and holy heck, it just all comes together. All the support, everyone that's got behind you, everyone that's put a gold coin in your bucket, or anyone that's flicked your message, it's all done now, and you dance for God knows how many people out there watching and supporting you, and it's just been cool.
That's so cool. Is there anyone else you want to thank?
Mate, I could be here until tomorrow morning thanking people, but probably a couple of people. I want to start by thanking Reese, which is Hazel's fiance. I feel like I stole Hayes for about the last 16 weeks.
Does he feel that way?
No.
And mate, to have someone at home that supports you as much as Reese does to Hazel is something pretty cool. Us contestants do it for a real big reason. We go on an emotional journey and learn a new dance and stuff where, Hazel's doing it for different reasons. So to have support at home is really important. And also my beautiful wife, Victoria, she got me into it. And I said in that Facebook post you mentioned before that she knows me better than anyone. She knows what lights a fire in me, and she knows what really gets me going and diving into a challenge like that. And I lost my dad a wee while ago, 3 years ago, and when Dad was in his playing days, he certainly would have dived into a challenge like this. And funny enough, I danced on his birthday on the 27th, which was his birthday, which I don't really think many people knew. But I think the support we've had from Hazel's partner Reese and my wife Victoria is it's another reason, mate. I'll burst into tears probably, I tell you.
So seriously, it's so awesome what you guys have done. Right now, I'd like to bring in Tony Gray from Nelson Tasman Hospice because, of course, they're the cause. And Tony, can you join us? Would you mind? Here he is. Hi, guys. Great to see you, Tony. Good to see you. Hey, so, just for a start, how did you feel on Saturday night watching all these people and this whole community come together for the hospice?
Well, I guess really proud, first of all, because it is hospice only happens because of a community. I felt these guys were incredibly brave and did an amazing job. All 10 dancers were just incredible. And just the real feel of how the dancers, the trust, everything comes together to support a community service. Yeah.
I mean, it's monumental, the effort that goes in, and the number of people and the number of moving parts to make that event work. And, we're raising a huge amount of money as well at the same time. How much money do you think we're going to raise?
Well, as we speak at this moment in time, we're going to be well in excess of last time. Last time was 248,000. I think everybody's hopeful that the number this time will have a 4 in front of it, which is, again, is just an amazing outcome.
Yeah.
And again, because of all the different component parts, the time, the commitment, the support, just every element of it is, I guess, a reflection of how people feel about hospice.
So, Tony, you've got to raise like $3.5 million a year to keep the hospice going, right? So what does it mean to have, this kind of contribution? Like, what sort of shape would you be in without Dancing for a Cause?
Quite simply, you wouldn't offer the service that you could offer. So, we're looking to raise it works out about $9,000 a day. And that allows us to provide the breadth of service that we do, because hospice, as Ryan has just said, hospice isn't just the building. It's a community service that involves social workers and clinical psychologists and counsellors and just a range of things that make holistic care for people who are facing life-limiting illnesses something that we hope makes it easier for them and their whānau. So, look, it's a lot of money to raise, but equally the reasons for doing it and being able to do it with things like Dancing for a Cause is just it makes everything tick.
Yeah, sure. So, but without Dancing for a Cause, you wouldn't be able to offer the services you currently offer. It's as simple as that.
I mean, that amount of money translates into services.
Yeah, amazing. And what does it do for morale at the hospice when everyone who's working there knows that this crew and everyone else is out there busting their gut to make money for them?
Oh, look, it's great. And this year we had the added element where Juliet was involved as well, Dr. Juliet Fleming. And she's been talking about it all the time, and the likes of, working with the other dancers, although they don't obviously see them, but part of that. And I think that brings the hospice into that whole process.
Yeah.
Look, there's been a buzz around the place, as you can expect. It happens biannually, and so it's quite a lot of time between one gig and the next. But yeah, look, it's been great, absolutely great.
And Tony, do you think we'll ever see you out there on the dance floor at the Trafalgar Centre?
That's the easiest question you've asked me. No.
Hey, well, thanks heaps for coming in, Tony. Well done, an amazing result. And I hope your feet are feeling okay after all the dancing, all the rehearsals. And again, just on behalf of the community, thank you so much.